everyone, so I just got a request on my Tumblr to do a video on the 10 most used kitchen items or the most essential items I have in my kitchen that I would recommend to someone who is moving out for the first time. Alright, so I went through my kitchen and then I went through everything that I use the most and actually narrowed it down to 5 things, not 10 things. 5 essential things that you would probably want to look into the most. The first thing that I would like to recommend is a cast iron skillet. So I've talked about this before. I've mentioned the Lodge cast iron skillet. I have, let's see, I had the 6-inch, 8-inch, 10.5, and then the 12-inch. The 6-inch is actually kind of too small to use, so I ended up giving that to my sister Anne. If you live alone and you're just cooking for yourself, I'd recommend the 8-inch. And if you're planning to cook for more than just yourself, then I recommend, this is a 10.5-inch, and this one's from Griswold, and it's actually a vintage one that I found, and then I actually just seasoned myself. And then the 12-inch I still have, which is good for if you're cooking for 12 people. These are great because you can bake in them, you can reheat pizza in them, you can do just about anything. You can take it from your stove to your oven, to your table. It's just a really nice presentation as well. And if you haven't bought any cast irons before, I would definitely recommend looking or researching them or looking them up, because I prefer my vintage one over my newer ones because it actually has a flatter surface on the inside, or it's not as pebbly or whatever. So if I could have started over, I would have just gotten Griswold. And it looks cool too, the design on the bottom, and just season it myself. Second thing that I have on my list here is a knife, a really good sharp knife. I remember I was never really into cooking before. My mom would always ask me to help her prepare food and whatnot, and I never liked it. I never liked chopping and stuff like that, just because I, 1, didn't know how to use a knife, and 2, we never had really good sharp knives. So it was always such a hassle to cut and everything, and they say a sharper knife is actually safer than a dull knife because you have more control over it, and it's absolutely true. So the one I have here is from Wusthof. So any utility or Sentoku knife is good, and what you want is something that has balance, and I heard that full tang blades are good, so from head to toe, and the blade just goes all the way through. It's just balanced. It feels good in your hands. If you pinch it right here, it just feels like it's gonna, work on its own. You basically want a knife where you pretty much don't have to do any work. And I really like this one. I got it for Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah, and it's a good knife. And it has I don't know what these are called, but they're cool because if I cut cheese with them, it doesn't stick. So yeah, I definitely recommend a good knife. If you're looking for brands, this one's Wusthof, and there's also Global, that's really good. Just do your research on knives, and you just need one really good knife, in my opinion, and then from then on you can look for other knives, but I heard Victorinox is really good as well. Okay, the third thing I have are jars. I think jars are so important. I have a ton of curry jars, or mason jars, or jars with caps and stuff like that. And I use this for water, or when I'm making coffee, I pour coffee in here and I stick it in the fridge and it's iced coffee afterwards. But jars in general, you can use them so many different ways. You can make candles out of them, and I don't know, you reuse them all the time. You can give them to your friends as gifts. This one I have right here is from Le Parfait, and I have they come in a lot of different sizes, just like the mason jars. And I keep coffee and my brown sugar and tons of different types of teas in it. And another brand that you can look into is Weck jars. It's just a Weck jar with a strawberry up top. I love these. I don't like them as much as the Le Parfait ones, but they look a lot better when you're displaying them or whatnot. They just look a lot prettier, but it's just kind of a hassle going through and pulling these little tabs off, in my opinion, but I think they look better. But I don't know, it's up to you. If you like visual assimilation, then this one, and if you just function, I guess the Le Parfait ones I like a lot. They're a little bit pricier, these ones, and they're really sturdy as well. the fourth thing that I want to share with you guys is basically just a Pyrex dish or a casserole dish. And these are great. This one's a vintage one that I got at a thrift store. You can find them like at Goodwill's too if you're lucky, but I don't know, they're almost unbreakable. They just work so well, and they usually come with a lid. I would get the ones with the lid because what I use them for is like whenever I'm making a very quick steamed vegetable dish, I just put all my vegetables, chop them up and put them in here, and then put some salt, maybe some garlic, maybe some onion powder, or I don't know, cayenne pepper or whatever, and then like 3 tablespoons of water, and then microwave it for 3 or 4 minutes, and it comes out al dente, and it's just perfect. And it's a nice serving dish too, and you can store it in your fridge as well, and you can bake in it. So I mean, less dishes to wash, and it's pretty, and I don't know, it's just a nice touch to any kitchen. You go on Etsy.com, or if you go on like eBay, you could probably find them. They're just, you know, really old Pyrex dishes. I think they're from like the 50s or 60s. Now, if you're a coffee person like I am, the fifth thing is very important to me. Just anything to make coffee with. Like if you're into espresso, then I'd recommend this Bialetti espresso maker. This one's a pretty big one. It's like for 2 people. So if you're just making it for yourself, if you live alone on your own, then I would recommend the smaller one. It's not that much, it's like half the size. And I got these actually thrifting, so they're really expensive when you buy them at like Sur La Table. I think they're like around $40 or $30. And I got this one for $2, and I got this one for like $8, so definitely a thrift. And I actually found them in the box, so they're like brand new when I got them. You just need to really sanitize them, clean them, and whatnot. And same goes for if you just want normal coffee. I have this big Bodum French press here, and this one's good for like me and my boyfriend. I just make coffee every night, and then store it in a mason jar, and then put it in the fridge, and it's iced coffee the next day. But if you live alone, I recommend getting just the small one, because when they started making this glass part in plastic, and I wish I would have known earlier, but I've replaced this glass beaker like 3 or 4 times just because I break them so easily. But if you live on your own, if you're just on your own, one person, then I'd recommend this one because it's a lot easier to wash, and you don't have to worry about breaking the glass as much. Or just get the plastic glass or plastic beaker. So yeah, that's all. That's all the items I have to share with you guys. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below or ask me on Tumblr. If you have an Instagram, I would love it if you would follow me. It's just @chrissstttiiine. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Take care.